Okay, welcome back everyone to our second lecture on church and ministry administration. Any questions on planning, execution, and organization, coordination of ministry work, projects, and so on? Any thoughts on that? So basically, the idea is it is good to plan the ministry and carry it out. Some of the things that we do, which probably you've heard, is one is we put out an annual calendar. We used to do it, usually we'll put it out in December, but now I think since the last 2-3 years, we started doing it by September, like 3 months before the end of the year. So we get it ready by end of September so that we share it internally with all our pastors and church staff. We share it internally by October. So 3 months before the year ends, we have a plan for the coming year. So everyone can start working. In December, we'll send it out to public, and all that, because they to some extent, and actually by October we start promotions for certain events that are coming up. Let's say in Jan or Feb, we start promotions. So people know 3 months in advance. They know about what is coming up. Right? So then they can also plan. They can also put it in their calendar. So it helps everybody when we plan. And same thing we do with the pulpit plan. So the sermon plan, usually by December, I share it internally with our pastors and also with our media team and so on, saying that in the coming year, these are the topics we will be covering. And of course, I personally will have a plan for all the 52 Sundays or 53, however Sundays are there. And we include Christmas and Good Friday and also about 54, 55 days. Internally, I have a plan. Okay, these are the topics we'll cover. But it is flexible. It's not set in stone. It has to be like this. No. This is what I feel God is leading us to do for the coming year. But there can be slight changes here and there as we go along. But we will share that plan with our pastoral team and also with our media team. So they have an idea that, these are the topics to be covered. So if they want to prepare, their graphics, or if they want to do some videos and things like that, they have time to work on it, So while we do an overall plan, we send it out, say, by December end. Then every month end, I will send the actual plan for the coming month. That means, which is who's going to be speaking where. And so it's like a pulpit roster. That's only sent to our pastors and to like the media and the IT team. Only they need to know. So it's not sent to everyone, but only them, because the media team will, of course, prepare all the graphics accordingly. IT team with all the IT-related work, getting the website, all that ready. So if we send it by the end of the month, the actual work for that month, they can do everything. Team and the speakers at each location. So that's how it is normally done. Very rarely there'll be changes. Usually we follow that. But if there's a need for change, we can change it. Yeah, question.
Sir, is there any pattern for sermons? Like, I'm studying third year now. When I came in my first year, in the month of August, we had book study of Thessalonians. And again, in second year, in the month of August, we are having like a book study. And in month of other months, it's like family related. Like, is there any pattern for whole year? In this month, we are covering like this.
So what we try to do is, we try to do one book study every year, at least one. Sometimes we may do 2, but one book study. And I usually put it for the second half of the year. So that's why you will see it's happening in August. The reason we started usually after June, because usually April, May is when there's vacation. So many people are out on leave and traveling. So we try to do the book study sometime after that. So it may be in June, July, August, that way. So usually you'll find that book study happening second half of the year, but it's not like it's a rule or something. It's just what we've been following. But the way we approach topics and themes is in the House of God book, there are 10 pictures of the church. So the church is a family, the church is an army, the church is a bride, the church is the vine on the branches, and so there are 10 pictures like this. That means basically our thought is we have to build the church in all these 10 areas. We have to build the church community in all these 10 areas. The other way we look at it is in terms of three pillars. Three pillars. One is, and again, this is also in the book House of God. One pillar is personal spiritual life, personal growth. Second pillar is ministry, Christian ministry. The third pillar is practical life. So our sermons are designed to build people up in these three areas: their own personal spiritual life, or prepare them, equip them for ministry, or show them how to apply God's word to a practical things. Three areas. So generally, say in December when I pray, I'm asking God, and I'm listening, God, like what are the areas in which we have to develop the church this year? Right? What are the areas to develop the church? We cannot do all 10. It will be too much in 1 year. But some aspects of these areas we want to touch on, and some of it may be like we definitely all these areas we would have talked about in the past, but we want to take them a little higher, or come back as a reminder. So you'll find there is repetition, and that repetition is intentional, because just because we did a sermon one time doesn't mean everybody learned it, or they learned it well. They've heard it, but we need to repeat it. We repeat it. Then, and there are also lots of new people coming. So and so there will be lots of repetition in as we keep journeying, revisiting same topics and themes. But the idea is we have to equip people in these three areas, or in all of these 10 areas, to build the church. So that's how we work on selecting the themes and topics. As God just says, okay, this year you focus on these things. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, the individual. Yeah. So let's say, we example, next month we're going to revisit the topic of divine healing, just to encourage people in that area. So we've done it before, but there's so many new people who, for them, they don't understand, or they've not heard, they've not learned. So we're going to revisit the topic, but so it's okay. We have 4 Sundays, 4 or 5 Sundays, I don't know. And then how do we build this? Like, it has to follow a theme. It's like almost like there's a storyline to it. You're building line by line. So, divine healing based on his promises, on the cross. How do you receive it? By faith, through the anointing, and so on. So you break it down into pieces, which there is connection between each sermon, but each sermon by itself is an individual piece, and you're building people up in that area. So when you're doing a sermon series, you look at, it's almost like putting a book together. It's almost like okay, you have a book title, but what are the individual chapters? And the chapters have to flow together. Every chapter has to build on the previous chapters. So like that. So, okay, if you want to do it 4 Sundays, or to cover this topic, I need 4 Sundays, or I need 5 Sundays, or I need 8 Sundays. Then how would you break it down? You plan it out. And, yeah. But, after 25 years, I was just thinking about this yesterday. I feel like, okay, it's almost like I feel like I haven't got across to the people the things I really want. Even after 25 years, like, oh God, there's like, I want them to be at a certain level, but it's not there. In understanding the truth, understanding God's words, and just knowing God. I'm just thinking about this just yesterday, and it happened because I was on a call with somebody, and this person has been part of APC for a long time, but they're in and out because sometimes they also have a home in another place. So sometimes in Bangalore, sometimes outside Bangalore. So it's not like continuously in Bangalore because they also live elsewhere. So in and out. In the conversation, they were saying things which I said, okay, if you've been listening to the sermons and you've learned what I've been sharing, your understanding would be different of the Bible on this topic. So I was like, God, it's almost like after all these years, I haven't got through, the truth that needs to be in their hearts, the understanding that's to be in their hearts hasn't gone through, and so it's almost like there's so much work to be done, even though you've labored for 25 years almost. And it's not their fault. Maybe they may not be listening to, I don't know, maybe they don't listen to every sermon, or they may not be picking up the books and reading, because it's all there. It's there in the messages, it's there in the books, but it's not in their heart, where it really needs to be. And so I was like, oh, but you can't blame them. They love Jesus. They're still God's people. They're still part of the church, but that understanding is yet to come. And so, okay, this is part of the pastoral ministry where, you serve and serve and serve, and sometimes it just doesn't get through. You have to keep repeating, keep bringing it back. Maybe at another time they'll understand.
Hearing you share this, just a thought that's recurring in my mind right now. It's like the parable of sower is just like coming, because it's not all are on the same platform. You've done what you've called to do. You've sowed the seed through the ministry and through the word for a different reason. Probably the reception could differ, and it could also be in the other side also, where someone has actually really benefited, which probably you wouldn't have just encountered.
Right.
Could.
Yeah. So I think it's like the 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. Yeah. So it was kind of like yesterday I was just thinking about it, like, wow. I thought like 25 years I would have been done, finished. I've told you everything I need to tell you. But it's not, it's like you're still like as you're starting, after 25 years of sharing. Yeah, I think it's a learning process even to understand, what pastoral ministry is all about. Yeah.
Pastor, so can we say in regards of understanding the word, like it comes with the revelation of the Holy Spirit, or it's just a part of a natural life?
Yeah, it definitely comes through the revelation of the Spirit. But I think also people have to pay attention. Right? I don't know what the missing gap is, because they could be sitting in church, they're ministering the words, and sometimes this doesn't connect. And so yeah. Or I was also thinking maybe it's a lot of what they have learned in the past, they have to unlearn in order to receive revelation. Because what has been taught to them in the past maybe this tradition, and then you need to unlearn that in order to learn the understanding the word. But it comes by revelation, and God reveals that. Yeah. So how did we get into that? Okay. Sermons and planning and so on. Any other questions on planning, organization, execution? All right. All right, let's go to the last two. Oh, the last two. That's number 14 is about leveraging technology. I'll just mention things here. I won't. Sorry, I won't show everything now. Or maybe I can show a little bit. Yeah. So lesson number 14, leveraging technology. So in Christian ministry, especially in the times that we are living in now, it's so important for us to make use of technology. And technology is only a tool, right? We are not seeing it as, oh, it's a replacement for God or a replacement for the Holy Spirit. It's only a tool. Media and technologies are only tools for us. And they give us advantage. They give us advantage to reach many people, right? So at the very basic level, it's important for all of us to know how to use, Microsoft Word, email, spreadsheet, all that. So all of us are, it's almost like accepted that, okay, you should know these things, right? How to use them. Then for what we are using in APC for our accounting is we're using Tally, right? So we have a software license which only our accountant and the external accountants handle. All our financial information is stored there and kept there, and a backup made from there. Now, in order to manage all our church people information, right now we're using a software system called Rock RMS. It's a church management system. If I look back in the early days, it used to be just one small spreadsheet with people's names, email ID, phone number, everything. But now it's in this system. I can quickly, I'll share these things with you very quickly. And I'll show you. Next semester, we have a full course on media and technology, so we can get into more details. So we use this. It's an open source. Whatever we have tried to do at APC is we have tried to use open source software, that is free software for almost everything. Right? We try to avoid paying licenses unless it is necessary. Right? So that's been our approach. Why spend money when the same thing can be done through free? Right? For our staff, managing our staff, we use another product that's called Orange HRM. And for sending all of our emails. So we have email lists, English, Hindi, in India, overseas. In India, we have by cities, we have by pastors, Christian leaders, or APC Bangalore. So different lists are there. So when we want to send an email, we can decide whom we want to send it to. Right? So if we want to announce a certain event that's happening in Bangalore, then it makes sense to send it only to the people in Bangalore. Only they need to know. But example, a Sunday sermon that will go to everyone in the English list. Hindi sermon will go to everyone in the Hindi list. So like that, there are probably about 20, I think maybe, 30,000 or less email IDs that emails. And separately, we have a list for WhatsApp. So we have all the WhatsApp numbers. So when we want to send a message to people in Bangalore by WhatsApp, okay, it'll go to those numbers. And it's all through automated systems. Right? So let me just, if you are watching on your phone or something, I will just quickly share this with you, show it to you online, where you can see our So you can see our church management system on. Sorry, Diksha. Okay, I'm just sharing this. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not. Yeah, it's recorded. Being recorded. All right. So it's just our church management system, and you can log in, and basically, when you log in, it'll show you a list of people whose birthdays are today here, and so all these people have birthdays today and anniversaries, right? So this is what our member care team will use on the left, on the right side, so they know whose birthdays, who the anniversary is there. They'll call them, they'll wish them. And sometimes when I see, I don't do this all the time, but if I log in and see, I can also see it, I can send a message. And then you can, all our individual people's details are here. So if you search for somebody like Ashish, right here, okay, you can, search for any person, you can bring them up, and you can see all their details, their family details, age, address, all of that. And there are notes here, like when member care people contact them, they will keep notes, throughout here, all our interactions and so on. So like this, we have names of lots of people, basically a whole database, Bible College, everything is available on this. And so this is our church management system. And then we also have what is called as the HRM. You can see the HRM now? Yeah, okay. So this is where all our staff will report their timesheet. So when you log in, it's our various things are there for HR managing all our staff. Then everybody has to report their timesheet. So this is like for every week we have to report a timesheet. Right? What project, what task you worked on, how many hours, and so on. We can also see leave applications. When people serve, this is where we request for leave. And so on, and there are a lot of other things here. It's all like about our staff, so I don't want to just show everything. But this is how our HR managing our human resources, staff and consultants. Everybody uses this. Right? They all report their hours of work and time in the HRM. And then we also, like I said, we have this. What was I saying? The mailing list. Where is the mailing list? There are a couple of other things, like there's one that we use for managing assets, and there is for managing our emails and so on. Let me just lists. I think it's this. So this is where we manage our email lists. We can see this is. It's not working perfectly. There are some problems with this. But see, when we send out an email like this, this is the Hindi sermon that was sent out to about 2,400 some people. Right? And this statistics is not working, but actually we should be able to track how many people read it, how many people, that part is a little broken now. But generally, so this email went out to about 2,000. So we have, lists of different Christian leaders around the country. We can send it to all of them, and so on. So, for example, this upper room went only to people in Bangalore. So went to about 1,429 people in Bangalore. So things like that, So we can send out targeted email lists, and they got. So this Bible College thing went to about 2,800 students on e-learning students, and so on. Or the Sunday sermon goes out to about 8,900 some people. Right? So this is how we manage our mailing campaigns, and it goes to the people that need to get it. Yeah. So the idea is, if we can use technology to do a lot of our work, I've just shared a few of these things. There's a lot more that we do, which we'll cover, next semester. And the last bit, last two bits, is these are just thoughts I want to place before us, not in-depth ideas, is to pursue excellence and innovation. That means whatever you do, try to do it very well and try to be innovative. Innovative means try to do things differently, right? Try to think of new ways of doing things. So, for example, right now, there are a lot of different things that's happening. Our media team is involved in. They're trying out some new ways of, doing their video recording, the devotional report, or in Chrysalis, that's a counseling ministry. They're trying out doing these short videos, like that bring in a little bit of psychology and also Christian element. So different people, different ministries. We always try to encourage. Maybe try something new, new ways of serving people, new ways of reaching people. And so we always have to think, be aware of what's happening and try to serve people in different ways. Digitally, also, or through website, through social media platforms, we are actually reaching almost every country on the earth. So even though we are not traveling or flying here and there, on a daily basis, there are people from just almost any country, in every country, coming to our website or our online platforms and making use of our resources. So we are tracking that also. We can see, okay, how many people are coming, what's happening, and we know that. And so we always think of new ways. We're working on, for example, a new version of the church app, the mobile app. We want to do a lot more through the mobile app. And then when that goes global, more people can begin to engage with APC. We can serve a lot more people, through those things. So always work, try to think innovatively, think differently, think on new ways to reach people using the tools we have. So think of that. And last, for any church, Christian ministry organization, is we also have to think on passing the baton, passing the leadership, right? So the way we do this is we try to keep raising leaders at all levels. So let's say if I'm leading, we also have a pastoral team. So we have a team of pastors. So if I'm not there, they are there. Then we have another level, of youth leaders whom we spend time with, so that we can encourage them, raise them, give them opportunities, so they're there. And then even in the children's church, they're trying to encourage the children also to participate, to be involved. So right from children's church into teens, into youth, into the adults, the idea is to constantly keep nurturing and raising up leaders. So that, now we're not saying that everybody's going to be staying in Bangalore. That is something we cannot control. We know that people are going to come and go, and that is fine. But there are always people who are being trained who can fill in those places of leadership, at least for a season, while they are here with us in Bangalore. And honestly, so many leaders have gone out from us. They have been trained in Bangalore. They served in leadership positions here for a certain amount of years. And then they would go to other places in India or abroad. And they are continuing to serve God wherever they've gone. Right? So we don't force them. We don't force anybody. You have to stay here and you have to be here. We don't do that. We encourage people just to follow God's plan. But our goal is keep on nurturing leaders. keep on nurturing leaders. If God calls them to stay, fine. If God calls them to some other part of the world, fine. Doesn't matter. We've done our part. We've helped them become a leader, and they can serve God wherever they are. Right? And for us itself, whenever the time comes. So whenever the time comes for me to step away from being the leader here, whoever is there at that time, we just pass it on to them. And so our goal is keep on nurturing leaders. When the time comes for me or any of our other pastors, whenever they feel like they need to step down or hand it off to somebody, okay, just transition. Whoever is there at that time, God knows. We just pass on the leadership to them. But this is a constant process. Leaders are constantly being raised, and they are being released into whatever God has. So while there is a certain amount of unpredictability, that means who knows what's going to happen 10 years from now, or we don't know. What we can do is constantly nurture leaders, keep nurturing. That's something we can do. At the time that transition has to happen, God has always been faithful. That there's been somebody. Even if you look at all the other churches, locations, and all that, there's always been somebody to step in and take on the leadership. So God's been faithful. Our job is just keep on encouraging leaders. Okay. So we're pretty much done with this course. I thought I'll take at least 2 more weeks, but any questions so far? Or anything else that we feel we should have spoken about? Did you feel this was useful? Any areas?
Actually, nowadays it is very popular and very simple to share gospel on media ministry. So, do we have any particular media ministry course?
Yeah. So that is true that these days, because of media and technology that's available, big ministries are being built very fast. And if you look at it, maybe 30 years ago, if a pastor started, there was no, social media. Nobody would know him. He'll work hard for so many years, and then slowly people will get to know him in the city, and then they'll get to know him somewhere else. It took a long time. Today, you start a ministry, you have your YouTube channel, Instagram channel, everything, boom. People are getting to know you, see you, hear you very quickly, which was not possible, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. So there are positives and negatives to it. The positives is, you have the opportunity to reach beyond where you are very quickly, instantly, literally. The negatives is your ministry can grow beyond what you are actually able to handle. Like your character is not where it is supposed to be in order to handle that kind of fame and name and thing. So that's the danger, and that's probably the reason we see so many casualties where people have almost like instant success because of media. They become very popular, very famous, etc. And then they don't have the spiritual capacity or the character to stand up, keep standing beyond the fame and beyond the name. And they do something silly and everything collapses. So Prasad, to answer your question, just make use of all the social media platforms, have a good website, so on. We'll talk more about this in our course next semester on media and technology. We'll get into the details. But My response would be yes, we should use the platforms that are available to us, but also take care of your own self, as ministers of God, because to these days, fame and name can come very easily, unlike the times in the past where people had to work really hard. Today, it's so easy. And if there is no character, everything can collapse. Yeah. Sorry, did you have any other question that you wanted to ask, Prasad?
Yes, it is very. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Pastor? Yeah.
These days we see many leaders because of money problem means tithes, a donation they used to get from the church. Sometimes we see that they are falling down because of the money. So how can
Because
we
of lack of money or too much money?
too much money in
Oh,
that
too
sense.
much. Okay.
So
okay.
how should be our mindset when we receive the donation or tithes from the church? So we should use that in a proper way. How should be a mindset should
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. All right. So, yeah, so today, when you see, especially in churches who are in the cities, urban centers, a lot of money comes, because people are doing well in the cities, all over the world. Then they give their tithes and offerings. So money comes, lots of money comes. The problem is in how and so it is true that many Christian leaders fall in this area because of abuse of the money, misuse of the money. And I think the safeguard is to remember that the money is not yours, right? People are not giving it to you, they're giving it for the work of God. Right? And what each one must do is pay themselves a salary that is reasonable and proportionate to the work they are doing. Right? The problem happens when the pastor or whoever is in charge thinks all that money belongs to him. No. People are not giving it to you personally. They're giving to the ministry, to the church, the work of God. Maybe to go preach the gospel in other places, maybe to reach more people, maybe to start more churches. They're giving it for the work of God. They're not giving it to the preacher personally. But what happens is, what we are seeing is, that's where misuse happens. They think it's for me. Obviously, so much money is coming. So buy 5 cars, 6 houses, 7, all kinds of, they do all kinds of ridiculous things because they think the money is for them. It's not for them. It's for the ministry. It's for God's kingdom. You pay yourself a decent salary and be happy. And this is where Paul said, contentment with, is godly gain. So be content. And if that safeguard is not there, abuse happens. Or the other thing happens is they keep the money in the church, but they use it in an improper way. Example, I will use that money to buy, in the name of the ministry, buy a big, I don't know, nowadays people do all kinds of things, buy a big church, big house. But it's in the name of the ministry. But who ends up using it? The preacher. Right? So he might say, I'm not taking it. It belongs to the ministry. I mean, keeping it there. But how is it being used? So it's not coming to your account. It's there in there. But it's being used in a way that benefits the preacher, even though the money has been kept in the name of the ministry. So sometimes you read these stories, where they bought a private jet, but the private jet is being used for their own personal travel and vacation and this, that, and all that. It's been bought in the name of the ministry. So how it is being used is compromised, So I think we should avoid that also. If it has been bought for the church, if it's something in the church, use it for the church, use it for the ministry. And I think the last one is to just be mindful that the money was given to do God's work. So where can this have maximum benefit? Can we give it into the hands of people who can do what we cannot do? So for example, this year, we have time. So one of the things we always want to do was to help more people start their churches, start their ministries. Whether they are part of APC or not, it doesn't matter. But they have to be accountable and they have to do genuine work. Right? We don't want to waste the money, because sometimes people simply say, yeah, give me money, I'll take it. So we started this program, church planting program, some years back. And this, after, Shikha joined us as missions coordinator, this year we have added maybe 12 or 15 new people around India. We start supporting them. But they're in that initial 1 year phase where we said we will observe them for 1 year. Because if they do well, then we will take them on as full-time, with us. So I think now it's almost about 15 new people this year, who are doing ministry in other parts of India where we are not going, but they are doing ministry. So we can give to them, we can help them and help their ministries to grow, and they will serve in their parts of the country. So I think that's how we should kind of give it away to people who can do work that we can't do. So if we have safeguards, then we will make sure the money is not misused. Any questions from online? Okay, so we will close here. We'll close the course here. What I'll do is I will post your final exam, and you'll have time to do it. Month of November, is there anything you want to talk about? Any other topic? Sorry? Oh, no, I was just saying we finished our course. So are there other things, anything else you would like to discuss? Any questions? Okay. Yeah, so I will put a note on the classroom once the exam is up. And then, so maybe not next week, but the week after, I think I'll put it up. So you'll have time to do it. In the upcoming classes, if you have anything to discuss, just send me an email or something. We can do a call or something, discuss. Otherwise, you make use of your time. Okay? Thank you.